Let's say I know nothing about business.
Yeah.
I just have a dream that I want to do a business
Yeah.
and I want to get into it. What is the one mentor that you would recommend?
Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
What is the number one advice that you got?
When I started listening more to my inner voice and my intuition, because sometimes we look for the answers outside of ourselves, and many times it's already in us.
I'm gonna step a little deep now. You said at the beginning that you listen to your inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
If someone doesn't understand this, how would you explain this? Welcome to another Starting From Scratch. George Adamides, welcome.
Thank you very much, Oresti. Pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here. It's going to be an exciting podcast. A very coincidence, I saw your post
Yeah.
on social media, starting giving advices to business owners, and I thought that's a perfect opportunity to have you here and give you a push as well,
Yeah.
so you can start with this podcast. Starting from scratch is all about inspiring business owners, young entrepreneurs, and giving them our insights
Mm-hmm.
as much as we have, and from the people that are coming as visitors. So today is all about our viewers.
Amazing.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Oresti. I'm excited to be here. It's good to see you as well. We've been connected for over a decade.
few
around
years,
there,
yes, yeah.
Almost a decade. So congratulations on the podcast and on the information, because I think the future is in the hands of the entrepreneur.
Yes, it is. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Let's start because we assume that people don't know you.
Mhm.
It's not all your friends that will see the podcast. So let's have a step back and see who is George,
Mhm.
and how did you start, and how did you enter this journey of entrepreneurship?
Amazing. Thank you. So, born in Cyprus, grew up in Australia. So thank you for being able to do the podcast in English. It helps. I only did year one in Cyprus. And grew up in Australia for 13 years. So I came back when I was 19, did my army, followed my parents' advice, go to school, get an education, get a job. I tried that in Australia, but then I quit university. It wasn't what I wanted to do at the age of 17. Many times you don't really know. And we're in a hurry to choose sometimes.
Yes.
And when I came in Cyprus, I did the army, I finished, and I decided I wanted to do hospitality management, hotel management, because I worked in restaurants for a few years before that. I loved it. I loved being around people. And I thought, okay, let's go do that. And I studied in Cyprus and then finished in the UK. Applied for the Marriott graduate program. Out of 2,000 applicants, there was 50 people accepted. I was one of them. So I had an amazing opportunity where you were under the spotlight as a graduate to really excel. And they provided you training and the support and mentorship to do that. And that was my introduction to mentorship. You know, at the age of 22, I had a cluster regional general manager of Marriott hotels mentoring me on my journey. And I had a cluster of different Marriott hotels, the HR director mentoring me on my day-to-day. And
That's very important, yes, mentorship.
it is. I mean, I read my first personal development book at the age of 18. So that already began to change my mind, because when you follow successful people and you think, okay, they're up there, I'm here, where's the gap? What do they do for me to get there? That collapses time frames rather than us trying to figure out all ourselves, right? So that helped a lot. I got 4 promotions within 4 years with Marriott Hotels. Then I worked for a UK company. I went from food and beverage manager. I did regional business development manager for a different UK company. And then I was international sales manager at the Intercontinental Aphrodite Hills in Cyprus. And that's when a calling inside of me started pushing me towards entrepreneurship. Maybe as a young age, I was scared of business. You know, you see a lot of, not propaganda, but maybe programming in movies of a dog-eat-dog world and these shrewd businessmen, and it wasn't a image I wanted to follow. But as I grew up and I got into personal development as well, I got into personal growth and reading books and listening and learning from top speakers and trainers, I realized there's some amazing heart-led business minds out there, and there is a different way as well. So I left my career before making an income yet, and that was my beginning in the entrepreneurship world.
You left your career to do what?
Back
What-
then,
what
it
was your first
my
business?
first business
And
was...
how did you decide to take the step? Because it takes one step, yes?
Yeah, it does. True. My first business was actually a network marketing company in the travel sector. So network marketing, I mean, it's over $100 billion a year industry. It's massive. There's many companies over 100 years old, like Amway, and Herbalife is about 40 years old, doing billions in revenue. But products never inspired me. I didn't want to go out and sell, vitamins,
coffee
or
and
coffee or
vitamin,
whatever.
yes,
It didn't move me. But then when I saw...
And Tupperware.
Exactly. I mean, some people inspires them, and they're all amazing companies.
It's their thing,
and,
yes.
and the incredible thing about network marketing, they have amazing personal development. They grow the people because you're taking the average person that doesn't have business skills, and you're growing them to be an entrepreneur, to think, to act, and to...
and to market themselves
Exactly.
as entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So my first network marketing was a personal development network marketing company in 2008. And
So it wasn't World Ventures.
It wasn't World Ventures,
Okay.
but that's mixed into World Ventures in 2009.
Okay.
So because the owner of Success University, his mentor was the owner of World Ventures. And so they made a decision in 2009 to merge those. So I fell into World Ventures, but even though I had a massive love for personal growth and personal development, I was also from travel. I was working then at Intercontinental, and I was traveling 2 weeks out of every month. I loved travel.
Yes.
My first plane was at the age of 7, and it's like, I want this more. So when it turned into travel, and of course it had the personal development training events as well, it was like a dream come true. And I did that for the next decade of my life. I grew the company. I moved to Australia to help launch Australia. I moved to Greece once Greece was launched. And we built a massive organization. And for those that don't understand network marketing, it's the last form of free enterprise, where with very little capital, you're growing into a business that the company provides the systems and the products, and you're the voice of it. It's taking the middleman of marketing and advertising and paying the advertisers, and it's paying the distributors of that product. So
it's a model that works for many years, as you said.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, it has a business on its own.
Yeah, and me and my sister built a team of hundreds of thousands of people. Thanks to some incredible leaders we found in Cyprus, and through Cyprus we launched Greece, we launched Romania, we launched France, we launched Australia. So we wrote history in that company. It was an amazing ride. Unfortunately, in 2020, when COVID came and an airport shut down to sell a travel membership when you can't fly, the company took a big hit, and in the end, it was sold off to a different network. But
okay, so that's how this ended, yes?
Yes.
Of COVID.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it was... Look, any business, because we're talking about business today, massive growth, fast growth creates cracks. If organic growth, you're preparing along the way. It's growing, and you're laying the foundation. It's growing, you're laying the foundation. When I joined World Ventures, we were doing about $80 million in revenue as a company. That was in 2009. 2016, we did $1 billion. So it exploded.
That's more than 10 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was some very big lessons to be learned by the owners. There were some mistakes that happened, as we all do. We're human beings.
What the mistakes?
But fraud happened. There wasn't 3D security and people signing up. So there's some big fraud that happened through Asia of hundreds of millions of dollars in that $1 billion revenue. So that weakened the company in 2017, 2018, but it would have gone through it. When COVID came, that was the final hit.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for it. I traveled to over 50 countries. I met my wife in that company. My son, before the age of 2, took close to 50 flights and traveled to 8 countries.
God. Oh my God.
So it was an amazing ride.
Great journey.
Yeah,
yes,
it was,
great.
absolutely.
Nice. I'm happy for you that you managed to took that journey, because it takes a lot of guts to follow this network marketing, because I met you there.
Yeah.
You remember? And it wasn't for me,
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of risk, and
Look,
it takes a lot of internal preparation and visualization
Yeah.
to manage to focus on and reach this point, because you
It
you
does.
take
It does.
a lot of no's and a lot of
Rejections. Hit
rejections
after
and
hit
hard
after-
work
yeah,
to
absolutely.
reach a level of income. Yes.
Yep. Look, it's a business. People think because you invest a few €100, it's not a business. No, it's a real business. But you're not investing the time and money in other people and in offices, but you're investing the time and the money in you to grow you. And you do get a lot of slaps. You do get a lot of rejections. You get a lot of people not seeing the vision. But, if you see Thomas Edison that created the light bulb, I believe he was over 10,000 times he tried. And someone wrote an article, how do you feel having failed 10,000 times? And he said, no, I've learned 10,000 ways that a light bulb doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's a different paradigm. So those no's make you stronger. You understand that it's a game of numbers. It's not about convincing people, like any business, right? You don't go out trying to convince someone of your product. You look for the ones who want your product. And then the business becomes fun, because you realize, okay, I'm sorting through people. I'm presenting. That's my job. I do it well. Let me focus on me. And then I find the right people who want what I have. If you play the convincing game, it's tiring and it's draining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's basically a team building business. Yes, you need to build a team of players, of A players, to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot, 2 or 3, and like in any company, I think if a company has 2 or 3 really strong people, the right heart, their values are aligned, they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs said my number one job that I'm doing, I'm a talent scout. He was running a multi-billion-dollar company, but he said, I'm a talent scout. When I'm out there, I'm looking for talent.
And
it's
I'm
maybe
building,
in the wrong place.
And I'm building the right team. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I made my decision to move into entrepreneurship, to go back to your question, when I just had a conflict inside of me. I started building these little business part-time. I was excited, I was inspired, I was full of energy, and I had a vision that I wanted to take life in my own hands. There's nothing wrong with someone being in a job. I've learned many things, and there is some security, not so much as in the past, but there can be more security.
Yeah.
But the freedom you can get from owning your own business, and usually, Oreste, I think you would know as well, you probably work harder than someone who's in a job, right? Sometimes 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m.,
Yes.
sometimes 5 hours sleep. It's not easier, but the freedom you have, the ball is in your court.
And then joy.
Exactly.
And then joy.
Exactly. And that's when I made the decision in 2009 when I was at Aphrodite Hills. Without making income yet, I calculated some of the funds I had on the side. I calculated how much I can maximize my credit cards. And I realized I had about 6 months breathing space, and I'm not recommending anybody to do this. Okay? This is not the right way. But that's what I felt. I just felt it was time for me to do that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And the other thing is that we focus, because, as I said before, I tried Herbalife as well, and I tried, but it was always, a little bit on the side.
Yeah.
I do everything else, and now I have 1 hour. Let me call 3 people and see if they want to do it, and they say no, and I was like, okay.
Look,
They
if you
said
treat it
no.
like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby.
Yeah.
If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business.
Yeah.
So it's like in anything, you have to believe in your product and in the company and in yourself.
Before we go to the next business, because I believe in these 10 years you've learned a lot, and I know that you've been through a lot of valuable coaching. What is the number one advice that you got?
I got a lot of advice, honestly. You hear a lot, and it all makes sense. But I think when I started listening more to my inner voice and my intuition, because sometimes we look for the answers outside of ourselves, and many times it's already in us, you know. I think the biggest advice that I lived, I would say, there's a few learnings. One is consistency. You know, if you can be consistent in what you do and remain focused, you don't have to be a machine. You're human. You can take breaks, etc. But you cannot go out. I always use farming analogies. My name's Yorgos, which means worker of the land, right? In Greek. And for some reason, I love that because it's the natural laws at play, you know? So I can't go out and plant a field and plant some seeds and water it and leave for a week and come back and expect they're sprouting and they're okay. I need every day to care for that, right? I need to water every day or every couple of days. I need to put some fertilizer. So consistency, I think, is key in everything. I can't go work out at the gym today 3 hours and not do anything for 3 months, you know? Yeah. So consistency, and I'm saying that from a learning of non-consistency, killed my business several times. And I experienced that. So consistency is key. Yeah. And even if you do one thing today, don't go a day without doing something for your business. It could be even the smallest thing. It keeps you connected. Because one day you don't do something, then it becomes 2, then it becomes 3, suddenly you've parked it. So consistency has been key. Faith in God has pulled me through many, many things. That might come a couple of times in a conversation, but that has helped me a lot. Huge. Huge because, you know, fear is thinking that you're in control, right? And faith is knowing that someone else is in control and you can't do it all yourself and it's going to be okay. And sometimes you go through dark chapters for a reason. So faith and mentorship, you know. Now, I've had some mentors face-to-face. I've had some mentors over the phone, and I've had some mentors who have passed away many, many years ago, and I'm reading their books, you know. But when you read and you learn and you listen...
And you act.
And you take act from that. Exactly. Yes. It's not only doing that, but you implement and you try for yourself because some strategies work for some not for others. Depends on your own character as well.
What is one mentor that you would highly recommend?
Oh,
I have some tough questions for you today, my friend.
I'm good with them. I tell my kids, τα δύσκολα είναι για τους δυνατούς. The tough ones are for the strong ones. Look, it was a dream 20 years ago. I was like, I want to have a health mentor. I want to have, you know, a mind coach. I want to have a business mentor. And I've gone through several of those, sometimes with the relationship with my wife. I've got a spiritual father. One of my best mentors.
Let's say I know nothing about business.
Yeah.
Let's say I just have a dream that I want to do a business and I want to get into it. What is the one mentor that you would recommend?
Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
Is the number one, yes?
Look, I mean, I've read Tony Robbins is amazing. I've been to a few of his seminars as well, listened to audios, read his books. His books and his talks are filled with power and energy and focus and passion. I love Tony. But Napoleon Hill, for people that don't know his story, I mean, he wrote his books late 20s, early 30s, and late 30s. Dale Carnegie, who's then, I believe, one of the wealthiest people in America, offered him in his, I believe it was late teens or early 20s, an opportunity to, because Dale was already so highly successful, to open up his portfolio of successful business owners and politicians, you know, all of that. And he said, you can study them for 15, 20 years. And after that, I'm not going to pay you. And after that, you do what you want with information. You can take this information and give it to the world. And he offered him the opportunity, but he didn't tell him that in his mind, a stop-watch started, a timer started in his mind. And he made the decision, I think, around 50 seconds. and he gave in his mind, he gave him a minute. Because one thing that Dale Carnegie was saying was people who make fast decisions move forward fast. Even if they're the wrong ones.
Yes.
Because if they're the wrong ones, you'll make more faster
You
decisions.
learn faster.
Exactly, exactly. So he made that decision. He opened up his portfolio, he was studying these people and interviewing them for 20 years. And then he wrote the 16 Laws of Success, which were 16 books, and nobody read them because there were 16 books.
Yeah.
And then he takes that, he condenses it into Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
You know? So it's an amazing book. I think for someone who's just starting out, it's really about here. You know, how to program your mind, how we've got a supercomputer gifted to us, and many of us we use it to watch football at 10 in the evening, you know. We won't get into football. No, I mean, I love a good sport game, but you know,
Yeah.
what if you pour that into you?
Yeah.
It's unlimited what's possible. So
Yeah.
that's an amazing
I agree.
book.
I totally agree.
And one lesser known book by Napoleon Hill. Have you heard of Outwitting the Devil?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, I will give that to you.
Okay.
He wrote it in, I believe it was the late 30s, and it was buried for 70 years in his family's vault.
Okay.
And he basically did a scenario as if he's interviewing the evil one of this world, and how he tricks people into being comfortable, into the tools he uses to keep people amused rather than focusing on themselves and what their purpose in this life.
That's
It's
amazing.
a very powerful book.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna step a little deep now. You said at the beginning that you listen to your inner voice, and this is very deep. And if someone doesn't understand this, how would you explain this? How do you listen to your inner voice and your intuition?
One spiritual nun, can't remember her name, but she said God's language is silence. And when I've been busy, and we're running from place to place, listening to music in my car, talking on the phone for a long time, used to watch television. I stopped watching television in 2008, and I stopped reading newspapers in 2007. I started reducing the noise. You start connecting back to
who you are
and your creator. You know, one of my favorite places, I used to go to Mount Athos, Ionoros, many times. I haven't been since 2019. But now I've gone to one of my favorite monasteries, either Machiras, Stavrovouni, but more Machiras or Mesopotamo. And there's a beautiful waterfall in Mesopotamo, close to Saitain, in Chouros Mountains. There's a beautiful waterfall just outside of the monastery. And just to go and walk in nature, either by myself, I've taken my son a couple of times, or some friends, or to just stop and feel grace, feel grateful for life, feel the wind, go somewhere peaceful. When you start to quieten the noise, because our thoughts run at 100 miles an hour, and sometimes we can go into that stressed mode. We live in a world where they show us the news, especially in Cyprus. I don't watch them, but they play dramatical music behind the news. You know, there's fear all around. So if you can, I said it for years, if you can take an information diet, reduce the amount of noise that comes in.
And the information.
And you can start spending a bit more time alone. Journaling works for some people. I try to. It doesn't come out naturally. I like to more talk and think, and sometimes think out loud.
Whatever
works for you, but find a way to reflect. But journaling works. Like if you write your thoughts out, suddenly you almost become your own coach, because you're looking at your thoughts, and the intuition that comes out, the advice that comes out, which comes out quietly, and you listen to those, and you learn to trust that. We are very powerful.
Or sometimes you can judge and say, what I was thinking yesterday.
Exactly, yeah. Tony Robbins and other top speakers talk about our inner child,
Yeah.
Our subconscious mind is at the age of 7 years old, stuck at that 7 years old. Or 4, 5, 6 years old. And when you start to speak to yourself sound all this new age stuff now, but in a caring, loving way. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but I'm talking real. To be quiet and to be present with yourself, and it's enjoy your own company. You start to get better and better and build that muscle, and then you can start to follow your own intuition. And then when the thoughts come in, you know that it's from the right intention. It's okay. You can make mistakes, but you have that faith that everything is happening for our own growth and for a reason. Sometimes we don't see the reason now; we see it much later on.
Yes.
But you have that faith that it's going to work
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And it's basically what you said is it's okay to make mistakes, and I would say it's mandatory to make mistakes because you only learn from mistakes. You don't learn
Absolutely.
from your success.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Wisdom is in the mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. And 2020, you get into the restaurant business,
I got back into hospitality.
hospitality business again.
It was going to be a hobby. I opened it on the 2nd of June, 10 days after the first lockdown, 2020. I signed the rental agreement in the first lockdown. So it was a bit of an act of faith, but it was going to be a small takeaway. It was going to be a 40 square meter takeaway. There wasn't a 100% plant-based restaurant in Nicosia at that time. There still is. I believe we're the only one. There's actually one now, Maigirio, that cooks like fresh food every day. So I wanted to do something different because we were on a plant-based journey with my wife. We are still with our kids most of the time, me, my wife completely. And there was a need in the market, you know. So I thought, I love the restaurant business. I know it. Open a takeaway. On the second day, I sat out the front and I thought, I'm the first 100% plant-based establishment in Nicosia. Okay, I'll take the next door place as well, make it into a restaurant. So I fell into that. And then literally by the end of August, I wasn't sure in the beginning of September who was going to run it full time. And that's when I heard the news, because at that time I was consulting for Rovia, the travel agency arm of World Ventures, and I was back and forth between Amsterdam and Cyprus.
Okay.
I built their offices in Amsterdam. I rebuilt the team there, and my team was handling over 1,000 groups in Europe, Middle East, Africa, doing $20 million in revenue just in travel sales. So that was my main focus, and then the takeaway is going to be like Arik and my wife Ariadne can do the recipes and things like that, and we'll employ some people. It's going to be fun. And then by the end of August, I lost my job. The consulting project I had.
Yeah.
On the Thursday and on the Monday, we're going to open. I don't know who the full-time person was going to be at the restaurant. We're going to open a restaurant because we're doing a renovation in August, and my students were leaving to go back to university, and I went full-time into the restaurant, into Elysian. And I did that for 3 months, 12 to 14 hours a day, which was amazing because I really worked with the team. I worked with my chef. We built her up. We trained her. And then I found the right people and started hiring and putting the procedures in place. And we've won many awards. We've won the best vegan and plant-based restaurant in the Southern Europe by the Prestige Awards in the UK. We've won by the Estia Awards in Cyprus, best vegan restaurant in Cyprus 2 years running.
Nice.
And a few others. So it's been amazing because our focus is not, we don't want, white sugar is vegan. So I wanted to focus on being plant-based because it's more of a health food restaurant, right? And there's no white flour, no white sugar in the restaurant. Almost everything's homemade, and many of the ingredients we use are organic. So we wanted to offer something for everybody. 80% of our local customers are meat eaters because they come in, they love the taste, and
just to eat something different.
Exactly, it's something different to eat healthy. So we want it to be a cuisine that anybody can enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are you planning now? Because I saw the reason that I said at the beginning that I saw your post and video, and I said, okay, let's call George to come for a podcast. I saw something about 100 business.
100 Days Business School, yeah.
100 Days Business School.
Yeah. Well, I still look, like I told you, at the age of 18, I read my first personal development book. I did my first seminar at the age of 23. And then I've attended over 100 seminars since. 2 days, 3 days,
Nice,
5-day events.
Nice.
And read dozens and dozens of books. I feel there's a lot of knowledge, and not just learning that I've learned from books and seminars, but then practical learning of being an entrepreneur full time for 15 years as well now. And I see a lot of great wisdom out there in the social media space, but I also see some unrealistic expectations from some people that are lessons that I learned in my 20s and 30s running the businesses, you know. So what I thought of doing is doing a 100-day run as a business school where I do a video. It's mainly going to be on YouTube, 5 to 10 minutes every day. Very easy for someone to watch or listen to. Then I put some clips on other channels where I share all the knowledge I've learned. Not all, but, you know, touch upon it in the last 15 years. From branding, from marketing, from business strategy, leadership, management, customer service, sales. Touch on all of that and give some intros and maybe bring you and other experts as well in some of those.
Yes,
maybe some of your videos, because I'm not an expert in everything. You can't be. You know, being an entrepreneur, it's about locking arms with the right people, being a talent scout, and finding the right ones.
Find the people that
to
will
make
do.
your vision a reality.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah.
So that's the goal, to just start sharing with people some information. There'll be great information for people that want to start their own business, for people that already own their own business, or for people that want to take their business to the next level.
Are you gonna name it 100 Days Business School?
I'm not 100% yet. We'll see. Probably. I don't like the word school. Most people, I think, don't like school.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe a 100-day business journey. We'll see. Yeah.
I want to wish you all the best
Thank you.
for that. And I want to warn you that you will need to dance as well to get some views.
I've seen that. I'm not a good dancer. Yeah.
You know,
We'll see.
I've been doing this as well the last 2 years,
Yeah.
like trying to coach people and share my knowledge on marketing and digital marketing, on strategy
Yeah.
and everything. And I see that you need to get out of your comfort zone a lot
Yeah, absolutely.
to compete
Yeah.
what is out there, because people can now like watch Will Smith instead of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
making
Absolutely.
making jokes and
Yep.
making so it's gonna be another journey.
Yep.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Um,
Look, there's a lot of entertainment out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of, you can lose hours and hours and hours just being entertained.
Yeah.
And that's where discipline, something I'm battling at the moment, is to have more specific time where I'm completely off social media. I did it in the past for a couple of months. I've done it in other parts. I've tried from Saturday night to Sunday night, 0 electronics. And you can really become a lot more present then.
Yes.
But I think I want to focus on heart-led business.
Yeah.
And you don't need thousands and millions of followers.
No.
You need the right ones that you're aligned with.
No.
You know?
But I want to give you an advice now that I have you here.
Please do.
There is I can give it to you before you go. There is a content mix strategy that we follow, like every marketeer follows,
Yeah.
but it's good to have it in front of you and see how you can distribute your content. For example, this one that we're doing here
Yeah.
is more like an educational to inspiring
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
But there are like a matrix of 4 pillars,
Mm-hmm.
which is entertainment, educational, inspiring, and convince.
Nice. Okay.
So, and you need to make a mix
Yep.
out of this.
Yeah.
So have that in mind,
Yeah.
because
That's amazing.
because people need to get entertained,
Yeah.
need to like you,
Yeah.
you know, need to get inspired by you, in order to go and see, even if it's free, you know,
Yeah.
to go spend 10 minutes
Yeah.
to watch. Because at the end of the day, your success will be out of the views that
Yeah,
you will,
absolutely.
and
You're
the
right.
followers and the subscribers and everything. So it's good to have this in mind, and maybe you will not dance,
Yeah.
but maybe, you know, say something more
Yeah.
entertaining, or follow the trends, or
Yeah.
what's happening now and
You're right.
everything. And everything.
It's something that we've done with Elysian a lot.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
yeah. And I mean, one of the most viral videos, it's still going crazy on TikTok. I think we've got like 90,000 views so far. Is me saying, you know, how people think restaurant owners come in.
That was
and
amazing.
How they actually come. And it was true. Everything I was carrying, except the box on that day, I came in.
Yeah.
You know, with the bread, with this. So you're right. And you can have fun doing that. So I would love that because it's all about strategy. And it's all about learning the people that are already achieving big success in that area. And I've been playing with social media until now. With Elysium, we've done some great things. And we've got a new account as well with my wife about family travel. And there now I'm really implementing that variety. But to be more strategic and have that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, because business school, business teaching is very difficult.
Yep.
You know.
Yep, you're right.
But there are a lot of people that want to take the information, but they're lazy. You know, they don't want to.
They'll start the video and it's just one
Yeah.
bang away to
Yeah. So, all the best with that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I don't know if you want to share anything else. I think we did a lot of. We gave a lot of value here, and.
No, I think I've shared a lot. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited for us to reconnect because you've come a long way with this field, and I love marketing. I love branding. I love that. So I'm excited to continue learning from you as well. And I'd say the only last thing I want to finish is...
Yes, give me one last note and one last advice.
Look, a last note would be for people to... We live in a very uncertain world. You know, the job security of 50 years ago is not there.
Yeah.
You know, in 50 years ago, you were rewarded for staying with the company. AI, I'm not an expert on it, but I think it will come like a tsunami in the workforce. You know, I believe
it's coming.
It is.
It's here.
It's already happening. I mean, things that video editors used to take hours and hours on. I remember creating a video to present a 3-minute video, and it took me 2 days to edit it. And now literally you can press a button and you get a relatively 80% of what I do like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that 80% will probably be 200% in the next 1 or 2 years. So my biggest advice for people, if you don't already own a business, is go open one. Go think of an idea. Think of something that you're passionate about. That it's not going to be easy, but if you're passionate about it, you can still be up at 3 a.m. and be overflowing with passion and excitement of what you're doing because it's yours.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd say to push people, and for the people that already own a business, keep innovating, keep growing yourself.
Yeah.
Because the business cannot grow past your growth.
Yes.
You know, so for me, it's all about continue growing. And I've gone through, that's why I talk about consistency. I've gone through a period of not growing. And there's a beautiful plant behind us. Plants are either growing or they're dying. So if we're not investing in ourselves, we're not learning from other people, we're not, you know, pouring into ourselves, we're shrinking.
Yeah.
So...
or if you want to say it the other way, it's we're growing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not making an effort to grow more, you're going against yourself.
Absolutely.
And another thing that you said about working up until 3 a.m. Sometimes Constantina, my wife, tells me, you know, you should relax a little bit. And I said, I'm relaxed here.
This is my relaxed space.
Let me do it so I can relax and go sleep, because I either do it rather than go sleep and have it there waiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, George.
Thank you too.
It was a pleasure. All the best with your new 100 Days business venture. Thank you. Whatever you call it, and anything you need, we're here.
Appreciate it, Alessi. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.